The seal has finally arrived. As you saw, this one here had totally perished. We went through it and I found online on that website a seal kit. There are 6 seals that are for the Chrysler 300. Now, as you remember in the previous video, the water pump gasket carked it, and I was going to need to find a replacement because the actual original water pump was okay. This has exactly that gasket in there, as well as a new thermostat housing, as well as 3 others that I don't even know what they're for, but I will find out. And importantly, this one here, which is the crossover pipe housing gasket. So I'm going to get this out, get it in, get it into the Chrysler, get it all together, vacuum fill the entire coolant system with the heater assembly open, see if it takes all 13.2 to 13.4 litres, and then give it a test drive. Let's go. So first of all, we're going to take it all apart, and that is things we've done many times before already. This is the thermostat housing, which has 2 bolts, and that bolts directly onto the crossover pipe. Now I'm using cardboard here so I can put the bolts in the same sequence that they're coming off, simply because some of the bolts are longer than the others, and obviously we want to put them back in the same place. There you are. Now we're just going to put that out to the side and clean the surfaces before we put the new gasket in. Now I did run over it with a blade just really quickly to get off anything that was there in the way, and then I'm just going to use this fine wire brush to clean both the surfaces over to make sure they are smicky-doo. Now the gaskets are already pre-shaped, so you can see how to put them in and which way they go, and it's really as simple as what you just saw. And then getting the first bolt, and then putting the bolts exactly back into place, just up into finger tight only for now, because I do want to put them down, tighten them up with an even pressure. Now I don't have a torque wrench at this point, so it's literally just going off feel without overdoing it. Putting the hoses back in place, moving the clamps back, getting the hoses back on, and putting the clamps back into place. Back on with the thermostat housing, and the same thing. Doing it up, but without being ridiculously tight. And that is the gasket back in place. Now, to fill it up with some coolant. 5 litres of some concentrate, 2 lots of 10 litres of water to make 15 litres, and then on with the vacuum refill kit. First of all though, we're going to pressurise it to make sure we don't have any leaks. Now I pumped it right up to 15 psi so we could check it out. Seemed okay, I thought. And then on with the actual vacuum filling. But that wasn't holding pressure, so I had to check it out. And sure enough, I could hear the air coming from the exact point. So it wasn't holding air, and I'm like, what is going on? This little spindle here is loose, so I now need to tighten it up, being very careful not to damage either of these seals.
Look at that water.
Now look at it go up. How fast it's going up, right? Because that's sealed. Flowing in. So I have put the coolant into the Chrysler. It has not taken out as much. It hasn't sucked in as much as it should. I'm just going to start it, run it, see if it can run through, see if the level drops down in the expansion tank, and try it again. I can't really vacuum the system now that the coolant is in there, because it's just going to suck coolant back out of it, and that's not what we want. So let's give that a go. So back on with the air intake pipe, and then back on with the electrical connection. Then give it a quick pressure wash because it was very dusty, and then go and take it for a test run. And not good. Just steaming everywhere. Here I am trying to get the pressure out as soon as I can. Team, as you saw, the new seal went in, we vacuum filled it, but it did not take just over 13 litres. It was more like 8. And I'm scratching my head going, what on earth is going on? Anyway, I took it for a test run. It overheated, ended up in the middle of the road, ended up trying to let some of the hot air out, and then we're back home. In talking to my eldest son as we were coming back from a destination, running an errand, I was talking about the time away, and then I was talking about the Chrysler, and then whack! God Almighty shoved a question in my head, and I was like, what? It's a 2013 Chrysler. It's a modern day car. The question that came was, are the actuators on the heating system electronic? Meaning, when the car is off, do they shut by default? I did a quick online search as I was talking to him in the car, and sure enough, have a look. The Chrysler 300 has electronic actuators. So the car needs to be in the on position. I had the heater on when I pulled up and turned the car off, as you do. Nowhere have I seen online in any video or any chat forum saying that the car needs to be in the run position. So, with that newfound knowledge, we're going to put the vacuum kit back on, bleed it again with the coolant index. I need to get out what is in there. Then it will be in the run position. I should have the entire heating system open, and we shall try it again. When you have a car that's overheating and you have the heater on full ball and you've got cool air coming out the vent, you know there's air in the system. So let's get on with it and see how much fluid it takes, and then take for another test run. Team, before we go ahead and vacuum the system, the engine light is on the Chrysler, so I need to check out why, just in case it's closing the actuators, and then it's going to defeat the whole purpose. So let's have a look, see what comes up. Hold scan. Here we go. Scanning. Engine coolant temperature, circuit, senior circuit, sensor circuit low. Engine coolant temperature, sensor circuit low. This came on when the car overheated, so hopefully there's no actual damage, just says low. So I'm going to go into that and we're going to clear it. It's really good. Trouble codes. I don't know how to use this. I didn't get it that long ago. I haven't had an opportunity to actually use it, so I'm kind of learning. Ignition on, engine off. Yes. Yes. Trouble codes not detected. It means it has cleared it, as far as I'm aware. So if we go back, that is now gone. Turn that off. Turn it on. And has it cleared? No, it's still there. Might need to start. What is this? Transmission. Transmission inhibited remote start. I'm not sure what that is. There's a lot of battery, tire sensors, battery voltage, internal siren battery. A lot of battery stuff here, which I can obviously go through and clean up later. But for right now, there's nothing here. These are all green. Green is good. Green is go. So this is the only one. Maybe transmission. I'm not going to try that one. Codes. Erase. Yes. Yes. Trouble code's not detected. Let's go back. It's going to clear that one. I'm just going to start the car actually and then turn it off. And engine warning light is gone. Have a look. All cleared. So, that is that done. We're going to disconnect this and have the car in the run position and get it vacuum cleaned. So, back on with the vacuum refill kit. Now I know exactly what I'm doing because this has been a few times, and try and refill it. But I was testing the pressure first and it wasn't holding, so I got out the compression kit later after dinner and then pumped it up to 15 psi, and it was going down. And then I found where it was coming from. This bottom pipe. It has been on and off several times. I've changed the hose clamp and it was still coming out. Team, it is the next morning. As you saw, the hose was leaking. I cut a little bit off of it to try and then move it up, but being nearly 13 years old, it has expanded, so it was even looser when I put it on. So I've been down to Super Cheap and I've found the closest possible hose, because have a look at this. You cannot buy this rubber section on its own. You've got to buy the complete assembly for the heater hose. I looked for it, and then I realized that was that bit there on the end. So I was on Super Cheap last night looking around. They had various different ones. Obviously didn't have that bit of hose that I need, but this is the closest one I can find that's a very similar shape and is the same diameter. It's actually a Gates hose, and it's for a Ford of some form, Ford Falcon FG. Anyway, I will be able to cut this down and I will be able to use it and put it on. So hopefully this then allows us to vacuum fill it, hold pressure, and make it work. I'm going to check if the Autel scanner here can lock open the heater actuators instead of having the car in the run position. So I'm going to do a quick check online to see if that's possible. And if not, it's going to have to be in the run position. I've had the battery on charge all night because it ran flat, and it's just one thing after the other, isn't it? Anyway, let's make this happen. So using the original hose to lay on top of the new one, I cut it in the right place, put it back on using the original clamps. And then obviously once you do that, you've got to test that it's going to hold pressure. So pumping it up here, checking, and then finding out that it's dropping. So obviously need to find out where that is. So obviously this being the newest hose, I was checking it, but it was totally okay. So then I'm right now going over all of the other connections that are part of the coolant system to see if I can find any bubbles coming out, to see where it is leaking. So I checked every connection, even though these ones have never been disconnected before. You just never know. This is moving up towards the firewall end. And then these hoses here, the larger ones, are the actual heater hoses, still part of the coolant system, but there was no bubbles, there are no leaks on any of these connections until yep, not good. Well, it doesn't help when the actual part of the vacuum kit has got a slow leak in it itself. I don't understand, because there's two seals on that cap that goes onto the expansion tank. So at least I know where it's coming out, and I wasn't getting any air coming out of any of the hoses. So we're just going to get on with vacuuming the system, getting some coolant in, with the car on run and the heater position open. Let's see how we go. Team, taking the Chrysler for a quick test run. Literally been driving 9 minutes. The temperature went up to 125. I pulled over on the side of the road. It started to come down, which it normally doesn't do. Like it gets to 125, which it shouldn't, but it's coming down. But I have got this on high for hot. It is cool. That means there's air in the system. It did not take the 13 litres that it should have. I had the car on run. I had the actuators open with the temperature on high, meaning the valve should be open. It did not take 13 litres. I tried to vacuum it 3 times to try and suck as much coolant in, and it wouldn't take it in. I am obviously doing something wrong. I looked online and it said to run the bleed screw, which we did. And now I'm sitting here. It's sitting at 118, which is too high. It shouldn't. The little analog gauge never gets past half, and it's on just under 3/4. So I'm about to go under the bonnet, crack the bleed screw again, see if there's more air out. Well, there will be air, but that cool air shouldn't be there. It should be screaming hot. I may have to get on the phone to Chrysler. So I've bled the air out. There was lots coming out, which is obviously good. I've backfilled the expansion tank with water because I happen to have some, until it was coming out the bleed screw again without the engine running. No air, it seems. Let's turn it on, give it a run, see where we're at. Team, the Chrysler is running. It's been running for a while. It's sitting there now with the aircon on because I'm trying to obviously work the motor to see if it's going to overheat. It's sitting at 104 and I just checked it. It's still on the halfway mark. The hot air was screaming out when I had it on heat. So I've got the rest of the coolant in the boot. I'm going to go for another drive just to see where it's at, but it should have overheated by now because I've just left it running since being on the side of the road, getting the air out, putting some water in it and getting back here, and that's been over 10 minutes, nearly 15 minutes. So I'm going to go for a run, longish run, really work the motor to be 100% sure. In fact, before we actually go for a drive, still going to let it sit here. I'm going to plug in the Autel and I'm going to remove the warning light code because I tried to do it before, but the sensor wasn't connected to it. So of course it was showing as open because it wasn't connected. So I'm going to clear that now and then go for a run. Got to admit, feeling a bit defeated. Absolutely bubbling its head off. There is still air in the system. After I thought I'd kind of conquered it, some cool air was coming out. Cooler on the left, vent 2, the passenger side, compared to the right, but both of them still cool. So there's air still in there. Either it still just has to come out, or it's getting in somewhere, but there's no leaks anywhere, so I don't understand. I'm doing the leak combustion test once again. Let's see what happens. So the whole time beforehand, that was running for about 4 minutes, it did not change colour. So I do not think it is the head gasket. I've had a few people comment saying it's your head gasket. I don't believe so. A brand new battery has gone in. I got a German Amaron AGM battery. They are a U-Butte battery. So I fully charged it. It's now in the car because we ran out of battery juice last time. So I am thinking, I am hoping, last time I was trying to do this, the battery died and failed and I couldn't actuate the heater core. So now with the new battery, and wait for this engine to cool down, get the fluid out, hence it's on a little downhill slope so that I can get the absolute most of it out that I can. But the hose is back on. I'm only going to try and put in water. So again, 13.4 litres is the goal. I want to try, I need my car running. So, let's let it cool down, get the water out. I'll get it all hooked up. 15 litres of water, and let's see what happens. So after putting the water in through the vacuum refill system, it was running at perfect temperature for nearly an hour. In fact, it was just over an hour. And I thought, I've got it. I've sussed it out. And just on the end of that hour, as I got home, it started climbing. I could not believe my eyes. And sure enough, the temperature out of the heater had gone to cool. Air was still in the system. Now, I left the car overnight because I had read online that if you leave it, it will suck the water into the pockets that have air in them. I took it for a drive the next morning, 45 minutes, and it overheated. Right here you can see a couple little white dots. They're the reflections of my torch light from my phone. Those dots are reflecting on shiny oil, which should not be sitting on top of the motor. But here it is. I tried to get home and pulled over, and sure enough, I got a stick out to confirm, yep, there was oil, and more than you can see on the end of that stick down at the bottom. What does this tell me? Well, as I was then getting on the way home after letting it cool down a bit further, I lifted the bonnet because it got really hot and steam was coming off. I'm like, what? That hasn't actually happened before. Where is that steam coming from? Right on top of the engine block. You can just see here, it's kind of reflecting and it's moving. That is oil and water on top of the engine block. Really hard to see here because there's so much steam coming off. Well, guess what that is? Well, here I am stuck on the side of the road, but at least I think 99.9% sure now we have found the problem. The oil cooler. You could see there, as hard as it was, it bubbling away on top of the motor directly next to the oil cooler. I've done some searching while I've had to pull over a few times, and sure enough, you cannot smell any burning oil. The oil and water cannot mix after nearly 13 years of engines getting hot, and these things, the bodies being made of plastic, they crack over time, which of course they do. So you can buy a full aluminium one now, and that is exactly what I'm going to order. That's obviously going to take a couple of weeks to get here, but that should fix this overheating issue. Team, we are in the workshop. Oil cooler has arrived. Cannot believe the $66 delivered box with a foam cover, with a cutout, 5 new bolts, full set of top and bottom gaskets for the manifold, and a full aluminium oil housing, oil cooler. There is even a new oil filter in here. Comes with a very solid plastic end to cover. 2 sensors are on here. $66. Seals are already on the bottom. O-rings. Everything is ready to go. Now, to get a new one of these in the original plastic from Chrysler is $915. This is $66 delivered. Is it going to be any good? Time will tell. So, the plan is, I've already drained the water out of the car. I'm a little cramped for room. Lachlan's in here painting bits for his Nissan Patrol. I think it's a Nissan Patrol. Got to get the car up. Got to get the oil out, get it back down, and then on with. We've got to take off the air manifold. We've got to take off the fuel rack that goes over the top, and that then exposes the oil cooler, to which we can then unbolt. And pretty sure we're going to find massive amounts of oil sitting on top of the engine block. So let's dive in and get it done. So under the car, first thing we're going to do is take off the under tray, and there are just 4 bolts that hold on the part where the main motor is. That other little bit at the front is connected to the front bumper. So this gets us to the oil drain plug. I've got something to catch it underneath, and off with the oil drain plug. Let it drain. Now, I've never actually even drained oil out of a car before. First time. Happy days. Cleaned it off. There was nothing shiny, so the motor seems fine. Disconnect the battery. Because we're going to be disconnecting the fuel line. This is just an air breather pipe. Get it out the way. Disconnect the electrical connections to the air intake system, of which there's a couple. And there are separate little plugs holding the wiring in place. I just need to get that out of the way. Take off this hose. Take off another hose that is at the back. Then here are 2 10mm bolts which hold a bracket which holds this whole air manifold down to the actual block itself.
That's right.
And then there's a 13mm
That comes out.
bolt which is actually nut which is actually connected to a stud that actually comes out, and that releases the entire bracket. Then on the other side of the manifold is 2 10mm bolts, nuts that is, sorry, and they literally come off pretty easily.
Now, we get to do these ones, which will be 8. Yippee!
Yep, 8mm bolts that Callum has just pointed out hold the upper air manifold. And they were all doing well until I got this one here, and the socket came off and was now on the inside. So I had to get a 3/8 inch 8mm socket, but I couldn't get it in. So I had to get a deep socket, which then did, because it was a 1/4 inch attachment. That allowed me to take the last 2 off, last 3 off, so that I could then take the air manifold off. And that's when the camera died. Anyway, this bit of sponge also comes off, and I thought I would just remove these gaskets from the top side of the lower manifold. And they were pretty wrecked. Now off with the 6 fuel injection connectors. 3 either side. Now to the fuel line. Now we're going to switch over to the World Mechanics YouTube channel because it's far easier to use their footage than record my own. First of all, you've got to push the fuel line forward because there is an O-ring in there and this green locking mechanism. Push the fuel line forward, squeeze the 2 tabs together at the very top, and then using your fingers, pulling the fuel line back. Now this could be under pressure, so you just got to be careful when you're doing it. There's a very, very tight O-ring on the inside, so it does take a bit of effort to come off. And that is how that is removed. Then taking off the appropriate bolts, and again I'm sure these were 8mm, just to take the lower air manifold off. I'm leaving the fuel rack attached to the lower air manifold because there's no point in taking it off. All the bolts are off, everything's done. Now it's literally just a matter of lifting that manifold up, and I can already see there's a mountain of oil under it, so let's see how much. Well, you can see down there there is just brown and white. So I've ripped up some rags and shoved them in the holes of the air intake system there so I don't drop anything in there. First of all, we're now going to take off the two electrical connections. One is the oil pressure sensor and the other one is the oil temperature sensor. Then there is only one water hose connection on the back. So undoing these bolts, I had to work out what could I actually use, because they're a specific type of bolt. They're an E-Torx bolt, and I'll show you the heads in a little bit so you understand what I'm saying. So I'm actually using a 1/4 inch extension, and that's actually working, because none of the actual other sockets were the correct sizes, because they're a specific socket. And then it's just a matter of wiggling it around until you can get it out. Just gotta get the heater hose off the back. Do that. Up. It's swimming. Swimming, you know that. It's a good look. And there's the water. Please stop. I'm not interested. Now just moving the heater hose clamp out of the way allows us to remove the heater hose. And have a look at that. What a mess. Okay, oil cooler is out. You've seen all the water and the oil down there sitting on top of the engine block. That is obviously going to be all soaked up and cleaned up. I do want to see if this is actually leaking, which I'm sure it is, because it's leaking all over the floor right now. I mean, I 100% for sure, but I won't be doing that exactly right now. It's going to take a while to clean that up, and then it's probably going to be finish this off tomorrow. So let's see how far we get. Right, let's quickly point out where this possibly has failed. These two ports here are for the water. It comes in on the end from this hose, goes through the body of the oil cooler, and these are both water ports. These here, 3 are oil ports. These 2, water. These pink bits here are the insides of the gaskets. It's been left behind. You can see right there, it's definitely creeped out. Now, when this is heated up, let's say that's when the plastic's starting to move around, or the gaskets. So either way, the fact that it was completely full in here, and you can see how deep some of these spots are, and this was all covered right up to the top, all the way along. Team, it is the next night, and it's time to get this into the Chrysler. First thing I've got to do is just go over the mating surfaces, get them all clean, give the manifold a clean as well, and then basically put all the gaskets in place. I've got the torque settings and the sequences. So let's get the mating surfaces cleaned and get on with it. Team, I think God must be a drummer, because his timing is impeccable. After I ordered the oil cooler, I then realized I needed to get some special tooling. This is a set of E-Torx sockets, and I need those because I need an E8, which is this. This is basically the opposite to what you normally see. You see a Torx screw which has a female head, and you use a male fitting to undo it. Well, this is the opposite. This is a male Torx head bolt, and the sockets are the opposite end. So it's just the opposite way to what we're normally used to. But they're called E-Torx sockets and bolts, I guess. So I needed those. Anyway, I ordered it 2 days after I ordered the oil cooler, and it arrived today, which was perfect time. Now, instructions are, do them up finger tight. Which is pretty difficult as it is. Now after getting one in place, I couldn't get any more to go in and thread into the block. I took that original one out, tried other ones. I could get one in, but I couldn't get others. And I'm starting to think, what is going on? There's this cheap units, holes in the wrong place, but I looked directly down with the torch and they looked like they were exactly spot on in line with the threads, but I could not get them in. So then I just tried using the impact driver to help, but still, they would not go in. You can get one in, but not the others. And then I worked out after looking through them that they weren't a straight shaft. They were like slightly indented because of the casting. So I just cleared them out, and then the bolts went in, no problem. This is the sequence of the bolts for the torque wrenching. This is bolt number 1, bolt number 2, bolt number 3, bolt number 4, and bolt number 5. And they all get torqued to 106 inches pounds, whatever that is. Anyway, that works out to be 11.97 Newton meters. Torque wrench is set as close to that as I can get it. So now I'm just going to torque it down in that sequence. And you do it twice. It's actually pronounced inch pounds. Anyway, you'll learn these things as you go along. The torque wrench I borrowed from work. 1. And then went through and torqued them up. 2. As you can see on the screen, this is the bolt pattern that you need to torque them up in that order. 4. And 5. Woo! Water hose. It's going to go there. Get this on too. Now the hose went on far too easy, and that worried me. That's going on too easy. I don't like that at all. No. Hose clamp is now on. That took a bit. I'm a little concerned because the hose went on far too easy, and the clamp has tightened it up, obviously. But will it be watertight? Man, anyway. Let's get these electrical points on. These are the new sensors, so hopefully they're the correct ones, as in correct plugs. As you can see, there's not a huge amount of room. Yep, on and on. They are both on. Now here's a look at the bottom of the lower air manifold. She's in a bit of a need of a cleanup, that is for sure. But you can see that these gaskets are completely flattened. So, using a pick, take those out, and then we just need to clean up as much as I can on the inside of these air intake holes. As you can see, they are pretty crusty. So using some inox and some WD-40 and just a blade, and just going through and just cleaning them up. Cleaning the actual mating surfaces as well on these, just to get all the dried up stuff on there, get it all off. And then spraying the fuel injectors. And then using a nylon brush to get them clean. These are the gaskets for the top side of the lower manifold, put them in place, turn it over, and then put in the new gaskets for the bottom side of the lower manifold. Just using a bit of oil to literally go over the top a little bit, just to make them seal nice and tightly when you actually put it back into place, which is what we're doing now. Making sure there's nothing in the way, and then dropping the bolts into place and just doing them up finger tight. Now these bolts are slightly rounded, and I looked online and that's how they are, which is just a little weird. They do have a little Torx head in them as well. So these have been torqued up, and that was not a good sign that this was already a problem, that the socket was sticking to the head. Because like I said, they are slightly rounded, so I had to use a pair of pointy nose pliers just to get the socket off, and this was the very first one I was doing. When I got to the second one, and the socket was just spinning around the head, so I actually went to grab a Torx head, and that snapped it off. And I thought, what? So I grabbed another one, thinking maybe I just had an old one that was broken. But nope, that didn't work either. So I left that and did the others with the 8mm socket, and I seemed to be doing okay. But some were still sticking on, which they shouldn't do. Now bolt number 2 is still not done up, but the others were holding okay. And here back to bolt number 2, and it just would not do up. The socket head just kept sliding on it.
I can't just leave it.
So anyway, leave that for now. Let's get the fuel line reconnected, which is simply just pushing it back on, making sure that you're not squashing the O-ring as you're doing it when you're putting it on, until you hear that clip sound. And then just putting the clips back in place for the hoses that hold everything in place. Then the 6 electrical connectors for the fuel ignition have all got to be put back in, and then pushing down the red tabs to make sure that they are locked on. It is the next day. Yesterday afternoon I went and picked up my very first torque wrench. I just got a cheap one, but I've tested it to the calibrated one that I got from work, and it is clicking at the same spot. So that is good news. At the very same time, I got some 1/4 inch extensions. I got a female 1/4 inch to a male 3/8 inch adapter, which I didn't have. And for the bolts that I couldn't tighten up because the 8mm socket was just sliding around on the head, I had a little brainwave and I thought I'll just try it, because I was going to get an extraction socket, but they were just crazy expensive just for one. So I actually used one of my new E-Torx sockets, and I've used the E12, and that gripped it fine, because they are not just because of the shape, but because they're a different size altogether. So an E8, for instance, is not an 8mm. So I used that and it worked. So now I'm going to put the top air manifold on. Just going to put some oil around these gaskets so I can seal up nicely. Torque that down. That's torqued to 10 Newton meters, which is 2 Newton meters down basically. And then it's basically connecting all the hoses, the electrical connectors, putting oil in and some water, well, coolant, and we should be fixed. But once it's actually all together, then going to pressurize the water system, coolant system, and see that the hose at the back on the oil cooler, because it was loose until the clamp on, is actually holding, because that is going to be the important bit. I'm just putting the tiniest amount of oil just on top of the seals to help it exactly do that, seal when this top manifold goes on. That's what I've seen the gurus and so forth do online, so I shall follow suit. I've never done this before, so adding it to the CV, and if it doesn't work, then I'll remove it from the CV. Right, that is that done. Which way did it go? No. Aha. goes there. There's these two brackets in place. This is going to go on first. Many people in the video said, don't forget that. 2 pins to line up so you know you're in the right spot. And then put this down. Are there any other guides on this? Yes, there is. That's now in place. That there. Put that there. The sequence that they tighten up. A sequence.
Want to use the click thing?
And there's the last one in there. Oh, damn it. Okay, bolts are in, torque wrench is set to 10 Newton meters. I'm going to quickly just point out the sequence on which they get tightened up. There are 7 bolts. So it is this one here first, is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, then number 6, and number 7. That is the sequence they get tightened up. You do it once and then you go over it again just to make sure. Let's do that. So back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Done. We can now connect all the air pipes and all the electrical connections. And we'll do a air pressure test on the coolant system to see that it is holding tight. Let's go. So after pressurizing it, it wasn't holding. And I thought I'd better spray this and check this over. It was going down. And now I had to find where it was leaking. No, it's coming down. Oh, there's air coming out of there, look.
Out of
Why
where?
this thing doesn't
Sure
sing?
enough, the same spot.
Out of where?
Yeah, it was just coming out of there. See, it's coming under there. Yeah. This is what it always seems. Now I've pushed it down. I tightened it on. That seems to be holding. And that's still on 11. It has been a few minutes and it is dropping pressure. So there is a leak. I've sprayed this. I've sprayed the 2 connections on the 2 pipes. The only ones that have been disconnected to let the water out. So the only other pipe that's been disconnected is the one that joins the oil cooler. I should have checked this, done this before I put the upper and the lower manifold on. That's what I should have done. Because now I've got to take those off to be able to get to that pipe to see if that's where it's leaking. So, unfortunately, I have to do that to be able to check it. So, let's take it apart. It's just spinning on it. As you just saw, these bolts not going to come off. They're $20 each from Chrysler direct. You can get a set from the US for like, I think like 40 delivered, a whole set of 6. So I'm going to try the E12 and see if it'll take them off. Look at that. There it goes. Alright, it's literally going to put that there. Lower manifold is now off. We can see the water pipe into the air cooler. I'm going to repressurize the coolant system and see with some soapy water if that's where the problem is. If it is, it's not a massive drama. It's basically a straightish bit of pipe that you can easily go down to Repco, Supercheap, wherever, and just get a bit of hose and replace it. It only goes from where we're connected a short distance behind where it joins to a steel pipe. Let's do that.
That's actually on 11.
I don't see any bubbles coming from the pipe to the oil cooler. It's not coming out of the pipe. I've sprayed this and I put my ear against it and I can hear a bit of air. So whether it's coming past the seal and through the pipe, but I can hear it. Why it's not bubbling, that's the only reason. It's like maybe it's going through that pipe. So I think what I'm actually going to do is very, very quickly hook up the vacuum system, because that's obviously doing the opposite thing, and see if that will hold. And if it does, then I'll just put it all back together. So I've set the system up. I've taken it up to -15. Now we'll just wait to see if that holds. Well, things are just not going to plan, people. Have a look. As you can clearly see, that has dropped considerably, and it's only been not even 2 minutes. Not a good sign. I'm going to have to put it down to my cheap little vacuum system. I tried turning the washer over on the radiator cap that goes onto the expansion tank, see if that was going to create a better seal, and I could still hear air coming out after the vacuum was going down. I mean, if it's letting air out, it's certainly probably going to let air in, isn't it? I don't understand why, because there's 2 seals on there, so, but it's definitely coming out. I could hear it clearly. So whether it's the actual sealing socket that goes down on the stem of the cap, or it's the seal itself, I don't know. But either way, pressurized it, and there was no bubbles coming out of the spot that I thought it might do. And it's not coming out of there's only 3 pipes that have been disconnected, and one of them is not that old at all, as you've seen in the previous episode. So I'm just going to put it all back together, get it all completely put together, and then vacuum fill it, the oil in, and see how it goes. Now once you've done this, you already know what you're doing, so putting it back together is a lot quicker the second and even third time around when you do these things. So I had the sequence down pat, I had the tools, so it was just a matter of away you go and get it done, which I did. So it was a lot quicker around this time. Torqued. Right, electrical connectors. Oh. Missing a bolt.
Might have been the one that fell.
So we had to stop torquing up the whole top manifold because a bolt was missing. And when you have a 2-year-old apprentice on the job, that's what it was. We didn't know what he had dropped, but we heard a tinker 30 minutes ago, and luckily I had the oil pan. Well, not luckily, but it ended up in the oil pan underneath. Had it not been there, obviously we just looked under the car and found it. So anyway, it's all oiled up. So after cleaning it off, we put in the very last bolt and then put the rest of it all back together, which you've already seen, and it's just the opposite of pulling it apart. So back on with the brackets, back on with the hoses, back on with all the electrical connections until it was all back together. And then once that was done, it was a matter of putting some oil in. Some brand new, fresh 5W20 synthetic oil. Now the Pentastar V6 takes 5.7 litres. Okay, oil's in. It's right between the middle of the little safe section. I'm literally going to run the car for about 30 seconds just to run the oil through the motor, stop it, then check it. And also see that I've got all the electrical connections back together, because Who knows? Well, it starts, so that's good. Fuel line, everything should be doing what it should be doing, so we'll just give it another 10 seconds and then we'll put some coolant in. Nope, it's drunk it all up. It was sitting there, now it's sucked it into the motor. So sure enough, oil level's gone right down, which is fine. That's the whole purpose of doing what I just did. So throw some more in, check it, run it again very, very quickly, and then we should be good. Check again by running it for another 30 seconds to a minute. Spot on. Team, everything is set up. I've even taped this straight so that it is not curling up and going to lift. It's all hooked up, air is on, literally going to suck this through, just get it up. I'm not going to see if it's going to hold because I know this is not holding, but it'll hold to get the coolant in. So I'm going to bring it up right near into the yellow because that I think is the good spot, and then see how much fluid it takes in. It's holding at -10 still, which is great. Hoses have still not come out, which is good. Still means there's lots of negative pressure in there, still taking it in. It's now just below the 10. Now I didn't go and empty the heater core, I didn't take off any other hoses, so there could still very much be some coolant water in the block. We will just wait and see, because when I did it last time and it lasted a whole hour before we then found that the oil cooler had failed, that still didn't take 13 litres. And I did read online, you needed to have taken everything apart, blown air through it to have gotten it completely empty to be able to get the whole 13 plus litres in there. Hoses are still yet to come out and we're just above, well, it's about, what, -2. It's pretty much just about stopped. And that has stopped. So, I might just give it another negative go, see if I can get a fraction more in there, but it's about this far off being at the cold level, but I didn't have the car on with the heater open. I'm going to try my luck. Well, basically, it is take it for a run now and see what happens. I may have to put this up on a hill and bleed with the screw, but we're about to find out. Team, car's running, it's at 93 degrees. It's 2:30 right now. I started the car at 1:15. It's been running for 15 minutes. It's going to overheat as it used to do. It would have done it by now. It's sitting at 93 degrees. We've just come to one of the local shops. Going to drive around for a whole hour plus, because the last time we did it, when I thought I had conquered this, we had lots of hot air, which it is right now, and then right on an hour it started to go ever so slightly cool, and that's when the next day we found the oil cooler had gone. Even the next day it was still 45-50 minutes driving before it started to go up. So just going to keep an eye on the time, keep an eye on the temperature, drive around and see what happens. Team have come home. I'm going to grab my sunnies, just plugged in the Autel just so I can clear the engine light that's on there. DTC's 0. Right, got to pull this away, turn all this off, take the car for a long run and see how we go. Team, been driving for a while now. It's 3:10. Other than the couple of minutes that we had the car off when we just did the codes, it's been running the entire time. The heat's still on. I put it on, still on high, but I got on low fan speed because it's hot still, which is obviously a good sign. It's running at 94, 93 degrees. Like I said, so that's 40 plus minutes. And it's still good. So I'm going to give it another 30-40 minutes if I can. See where we're at. If it holds where it is, I think I have confidence. I've just filled up. The car is not going near 100. It's got to 99 once when I was just sitting idling waiting to get into a spot at the fuel station. Otherwise 95, it's at 98 at the moment, and it's now 340, so it's staying hot. There's no cool air. I've just turned it down to 26. Temperature's sitting at 99 at the moment. So unless it overheats between now and the next 12 minutes to getting home, I think I've got it. It's just hit 100, but I'll let you know in about 10-12 minutes time when I get back home and see where we're at. We'll lift the bonnet, have a look underneath. Yeah, I just hit 101 after all I've just said. So let's see what happens. I'm going to put this back on high. Now 102. Still have screaming hot air. 103, 104, 105. It shouldn't be going up now, and it is. I cannot believe it. You've got to be kidding me. It's an hour and a half. 106, 107. Oh, come on, no. Hour and a half. Why is it now going up? It's getting hot again. And this is not screaming hot. here right now. The air is starting to cool off. 110. You've got to be kidding me. 111. Come on, I'm going to quickly pull over and lift the bonnet. I'll turn it off. Let's have a look and see what's going on. There is no bubbling, there is no steam, there is no smoke. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on here, people. I'll have a quick look down there, see if I can see the oil coming out, the oil cooler. So I'm not exactly sure. There's nothing under there. It's been on, so let's just get home. Not hot. 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 17, 118. Oh, I'm going to have to pull over. I cannot believe 121, 122. Just unbelievable, and the air is cold. This is sitting at 122, which it shouldn't be, and the air is cold. How is that possible? I do not want to. 123. I have to pull over. Oh my goodness. Well, that's bubbling. I'm going to try the bleed screw. It's going to let some air out. I don't think possibly be getting air now, so seriously now feeling defeated after this. Let the air out of the system. I'd expect water coolant to come out of the bleed valve, but it didn't. So it's 102 degrees. Let's just get home. And I don't know, maybe let last the air out, but 103 degrees already going up, and not that far from home, and it's going to take me a while to get there. There's most of it. Made it home. It started to come down in temperature, started to get a tiny amount of bit of warmth coming through the hot air, and then it went up again. So I've now got the car up on a big angle. So I'm going to put some coolant in, get it running. Get some in, bleed it while it's up here, because now this is higher than the heater core because it's down. Let's see if that will get the air out where we are. See what happens. Okay, after putting it up on the hill, bleeding more air out, putting some more coolant in, we went for a run, and no bueno, it's still overheated. So, the saga continues. I'm not going to let this beat me. We're going to get the car is already up. The under tray is going to come off. We're going to take the coolant out of the system so I can reuse it, because you can. There is a valve, it's called a petcock valve at the bottom of the radiator. So we're going to open that up and get the coolant out. But that is going to be in the next episode. In the meantime, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, share, comment. We'll see you on the next one.